لمعصومی مسلمانی میں نظام زارون نظران مقامتا سخر زارون لمعصومی مسلمانی میں نظام زارون نظران مقامتا سخر كدبني زارت لدرمين قربان قرانتا سخا زماش بسلمين قربان سمزواني خو هزار ورد الحسين قربان سمزواني خو هزار ورد الحسين قربان استقرن باندې سرونه په هر آزارون نظران مقامتا سرون استقرن باندې سرونه په هر آزارون نظران مقامتا سرون
خاک خون شهیدان گلگون شد افغانستان الله اکبر الله اکبر رسیده رسیده به عرض شهیدان مای سوی قرآن الله اکبر الله اکبر هم سنگر بشنو بیام من را بیر انتقام من را الله
I saw in a dream something very strange. A group of people of my ummah, meaning Muslims, will intend to attack the Kaaba. Very strange. Why? Because a man from my descendants, from the Quraysh, has sought refuge in it. And as they are camped outside of Mecca at a place called Bayda, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will cause the earth to open up and swallow the entire army.
There will be great confusion in the world. There will be great confusion amongst the Muslims. There will be absolutely violent deaths taking place. Killing upon killing. And there will be disputes everywhere. There will be disturbance and there will be fear. Fear, people will not want to come out of their homes. They will stay in their homes. They will lock themselves. And there will be many wars. Many wars and fitan upon fitan. That there will be trial and tribulation upon trial upon trial upon trial. To the extent that when somebody will go for a trial, who will think that this is it, this is the last one. And another one will appear. That until the hadith says, until a person will walk past the grave and he will say, I wish that I was in his place. This is how severe the fitna is going to be. This is just before the time of when Imam Mahdi comes.
There shall come black flags from the east, and then a war shall ensue between the Muslims. No ummah has ever undergone such a severe war. So he is saying black flags will come from the east, meaning the lands of Khurasan. So when you see the black flags, give bay'ah to the Mahdi, even if you have to crawl on snow to get to him. The whole ummah shall be controlled by one person from my progeny. And we also know that he shall enjoy the greatest khilafah ever known to the Muslims. Better than the Umayyads, better than the Abbasids, better than the Ottomans, better than all of the other khalifas that we've had. The Prophet ﷺ said that there will become a time, the Mahdi will come, he shall give money to everybody and not fear poverty, not even count it. And he said the fruits shall grow and the crops shall produce and everybody shall live in security and peace. This is after the Mahdi spreads justice after the injustice. And he shall prepare the lands for the coming of Isa ibn Maryam. And when the coming of Isa ibn Maryam, the major signs of the Day of Judgment will start, and the Day of Judgment will literally be around the corner. We don't know when he will come, but we do know where he will come from. The location is known. Now the location of the Mahdi is something that is slight dispute amongst the ulama. This is because there are two sets of ahadith regarding the Mahdi. The first set of hadith mentions that the Mahdi shall come from the east. In another narration, then the country is mentioned from Khurasan. The second set of ahadith mention that he shall appear from Medina. Let us quote some of these ahadith and then present one opinion on the issue. Of these ahadith is the hadith mentioned in Ibn Majah and also in the Mustadrak of Al-Hakim, that the Prophet ﷺ said, and this is an authentic hadith, 3 groups of Muslims shall fight for your treasure, and each of these 3 leaders will be sons of a Khalifa. The scholars of hadith said the treasure being referred to is the treasure buried underneath the Kaaba. We don't know exactly where it is buried to this day. It was buried by the tribe of Jurhum. It was buried in the ancient times, before the coming of the Prophet ﷺ by many years. It was buried when the tribe was being attacked by a neighboring tribe, and so they gathered all of their treasures and they buried them in a location around the Kaaba, we don't know where. And they also hid the well of Zamzam. And you all know that Abdul Muttalib discovered the well of Zamzam and he rediscovered it. Okay, when this invading army was coming, they hid the well of Zamzam and they buried all of their gold and all of the money that they had, they buried it there because they didn't want the enemy tribe to take it. So that treasure, 3 princes will fight over it inside of the Haram. There shall occur battle there inside of the Haram. And the Prophet said, none of them shall win. Then he said, there shall come black flags from the east. And then a war shall ensue between the Muslims. No ummah has ever undergone such a severe war. So he is saying black flags will come from the east, meaning the lands of Khurasan. Another narration in the Musnad Imam Ahmad says, when you see these black flags, then realize that the Mahdi will be with them. So when you see the black flags, give bay'ah to the Mahdi, even if you have to crawl on snow to get to him. There is another narration which mentions as well the country, and this is Khurasan, and this is in Sunan al-Tirmidhi. Sunan al-Tirmidhi, there's a hadith that mentions, there shall come from Khurasan black flags, and they shall continue until they reach Jerusalem, and nothing will be able to stop them. They will reconquer Jerusalem. So in this hadith we find 2 facts mentioned. The first, that an army, it doesn't mention the Mahdi. The other hadith mentions there will be the Mahdi with the black flags. This hadith in Tirmidhi says there shall be an army from Khurasan. It shall march forth. Nothing will stop them until they reach Jerusalem, Bayt al-Maqdis, and they shall basically take it over. They shall free it. Once again, this hadith would be quite explicit except for one problem: it is weak. Therefore, if this hadith were authentic, we could say that one of the signs of the Mahdi is that he shall reconquer Jerusalem. And if that was the case, then in our times, of course, this is a lot of hope for us. But this hadith is not authentic. The Prophet ﷺ said in this hadith is authentic, Abu Dawood, a man shall come from Medina, from my descendants. He shall flee, run away, which means he will be scared. He's being targeted. He's being hunted down. He shall run to Mecca, seeking protection in Mecca. And the people will take him out, meaning he's in hiding. He doesn't want the people to know who he is. The people will hunt him down and take him out, and he doesn't want them to know. And they shall give him the bay'ah between the rukun and the maqam. So from this hadith, we learn that the Mahdi shall appear from Medina. The other ahadith tell us that a flag will come from Khurasan. Scholars have differed now. How do we reconcile all of these ahadith? And Allahu A'lam, it appears that the correct opinion is that the Mahdi shall be from Medina, and he shall come to the Kaaba, to Mecca, like the Prophet ﷺ said. And when he comes to Mecca and the people give bay'ah to him, and he doesn't want the bay'ah to be given, the Prophet ﷺ said that they will find him and they will force him to stand between the rukn and the maqam, and they will give bay'ah to him, and he doesn't want it. Why doesn't he want the bay'ah? Why doesn't he want to become the Khalifa? It's responsibility. He doesn't want that responsibility. So the Mahdi does not want to be the Amir. He doesn't want to be the Khalifa. The people will take him from his house. They will force him into the Kaaba and give him the bay'ah. So this seems to be the correct opinion, that will happen. Simultaneously, when this occurs, the other ahadith tell us that there's civil war taking place, right? 3 sons of the Khalifa are fighting. This hadith, we already mentioned it, right? Civil war is taking place. So in this civil war, the people turn to the Mahdi as the solution to the civil war. So they give him the bay'ah. When they give him the bay'ah, simultaneously a group of Muslims from Khurasan shall march towards the Kaaba in order to help the Mahdi and become his army. And they shall have black flags as their banners. Therefore the Prophet ﷺ said, when you see those black flags, that is the sign this is the Mahdi. You notice now, none of the ahadith that mention the black flags clearly says the Mahdi shall be from Khurasan. It says an army shall come from Khurasan with black flags. When you see that army, give bay'ah to the Mahdi. So the correct opinion appears to be, and this is the opinion I follow, the Mahdi will come from Medina to Mecca during this time of civil war. And there will be many people claiming to be the Khalifa. The people will see the Mahdi and recognize him to be the Mahdi, and they will want him to be the Khalifa. So they will force him to take the bay'ah. And when this occurs, the news will spread, an army will march forth, and they will want to be the followers of the Mahdi. And when that army marches forth, that is the sign. The Prophet ﷺ says, when you see that army, know this is the Mahdi, give him the bay'ah, even if you have to crawl on snow to get there.
حي على الفلاح.
We also know that the Mahdi shall rule for 7 years. The Prophet ﷺ said in a hadith in Abu Dawood that he shall rule for 7 years. But then something will happen. Then something will happen. And that is, Dajjal will come. Dajjal will come when the Mahdi is alive. The Mahdi will be alive and in charge of the affairs of the Ummah, and he shall battle the forces of Dajjal, fully knowing that they'll never defeat them. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, Isa ibn Maryam is the one who will kill Dajjal. The time will come when the Mahdi, he didn't say the word Mahdi, he said a leader amongst you, and in this case it is the Mahdi, will be leading you in Damashq, in Damascus. And he will be fighting basically the forces of Dajjal, and he will stand up to lead the Fajr prayer next to the white minaret. The white minaret. The scholars say this is now the Umayyad Masjid. So he shall be leading the Muslims in Damashq, in Damascus. And the call for Fajr shall be given. When they stand up to pray, the Prophet ﷺ said, when the Iqamah is given, before the Mahdi says Allahu Akbar, Isa ibn Maryam will come down in front of them. So the Mahdi will be leading the Muslims. And before he starts the prayer, the Fajr prayer, Isa ibn Maryam will come down. As they're watching, they see in the skies that Isa ibn Maryam is coming down, and he shall be on the wings of 2 angels. And as he comes down, the Mahdi will say, this is your prayer to lead. Lead the prayer for us. So the Mahdi will ask Isa ibn Maryam to lead the Fajr prayer. The Prophet ﷺ said in Sahih Muslim, he said, Isa ibn Maryam will say, no, It was called for you, the iqamah was given for you, so you lead the prayer. This is a hadith as a sign of respect to this ummah. Isa ibn Maryam will pray behind one of the descendants of the Prophet ﷺ. He shall pray behind the Mahdi as a sign of respect. This is the last mention of the Mahdi. We don't know anything more about him. The last reference that we find in the hadith literature is the coming of Isa ibn Maryam. As soon as Isa ibn Maryam comes, all of the future ahadith talk about Isa and Dajjal and the Muslims. No mention is made of the Mahdi, which means that the Mahdi shall basically make the earth suitable for Isa ibn Maryam to come down. And when he comes down, then Isa ibn Maryam will take charge. What will happen to the Mahdi? Allahu A'lam. Will he live? Will he die? Will he become lieutenant? Nobody knows. All we know is that with the coming of Isa ibn Maryam, no mention is given of the Mahdi. We do not know how many more years he will live. All we know, 7 years he shall rule. At the end of those 7 years, that is when the Dajjal will come and Isa ibn Maryam will come and the Mahdi will be alive at that time. After that, we have no mention of the Mahdi. So, the Mahdi, as we said, is the link between the minor and the major signs. So we conclude this by saying, indeed, the Mahdi is a part of our tradition. We believe in him. We believe he is a human being. But he is a pious man, and he shall unite the ummah, and he shall battle the forces of evil, and he shall cause the whole earth to become a place of justice, and he shall prepare the lands for the coming of Isa ibn Maryam. And when the coming of Isa ibn Maryam, the major signs of the Day of Judgment will start, and the Day of Judgment will literally be around the corner. May Allah Azza wa Jal save us from living at the times of Dajjal, and may Allah Azza wa Jal grant us iman and tawfiq and ikhlas. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa baraka ala abdi Muhammadin wa alihi